Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SAP HR Mavericks podcast, the podcast where the future of HR meets with the Mavericks who make it happen. I'm your host, Silvia Moreno. I'm with Elton. Elton, can you please help me pronounce your last name, first of all?
My name is Elton Schwerzel.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure that I can replicate that. So thank you for joining the podcast. Today we're talking about cloud sovereignty. Big topic nowadays. A lot of responsibility on your shoulders. So, Elton, can you please introduce yourself first?
Yeah, sure. My name is Elton Schwerzel. I'm now for more than 25 years in enterprise software environments, and I'm helping customers to actually transform their businesses supported by software solutions. And I've been formerly working with SAP for about 9 years,
Okay.
beginning of 2006 until 2014. After that, I was in different management positions, always in enterprise software. And now, for the last 4 months, I took over the responsibility at Worx for the SAP solutions in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And very happy to be here.
Thank you. We are very happy to have you and welcome to SD Works, although you are not entirely new, but welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. So let's dive into the topic, if that's okay for you. It's also a topic very close to your heart. We were just discussing how how we initially discussed it in our first meeting. It was during the sales kickoff at beginning of the year in Granada, and suddenly you I started to speak about this, and I thought, okay, I don't know anything about this topic, but let's interview Elton, who knows it all. So so how can we start? Can you maybe do high-level introduction of cloud sovereignty, what it is, why it's so important nowadays?
Yeah. So I think what happened was in our first conversations when we met in Granada, we met members of I think it was Gil, a member of our XCOM team, and we were sitting at a table and we had a conversation about all the requirements we have across Europe in regards to data, and especially HR data and also services, and also what are the requirements to really provide a service which is compliant to all rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And we all had different topics and different understandings of what is necessary to actually deliver a secure, functional, and also innovational services to our customer base. And one of the topics that I brought into the conversation was what about data sovereignty? And what I found out is that we all had a different understanding of what that means in terms of services, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of compliance and data governance. And during that discussion, what we found out is that there is a big requirement for a service and an answer as SD Works. How do we provide with our technology, with our services, data sovereignty to our customers and into the market? And during that conversation, we actually dove deeper into the topic, and now we're doing a podcast about it. And the reason why I'm so attached to this topic is because in my former company, I was a responsibility for the data management market, and we did a lot of projects around personal data, data retention, data deletion, and within a project of one of the largest German enterprises, we did a pilot around data governance, and then we actually built a data governance platform that we then sold to that customer. And within these data governance programs, data sovereignty was a big topic, and therefore I could adapt that knowledge, bring it to SD Works, and adapt it to the offerings and to the SAP solutions that we actually present to the market.
Yeah. All right. That's a good introduction and a great background. Just to be clear, of course, when we are speaking about cloud sovereignty, we are focusing more on data related to employee and at the HR organizations, which is our point of focus and attention. So what would you say is the biggest challenge for organizations today in terms of HR data, how to protect them, how to make sure? Because I see It's in the news. It's in the new statistics. We see that more than 75%, I think it was, of companies outside the US are really need to put in place a control over the data and make sure that you know where it is, you know what to do with it, and you can protect it, and so it's secure. But so how, as an organization, how do you think? What is the challenge today? The biggest challenge?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is for organizations to understand what do I really need, right? What is mandatory for me? What is can? And therefore, a lot of customers and prospects I speak to, they need guidance. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for leadership in that regard. And what they're looking for is not only for the way of transformation into, let's say, new technology, but they're looking for guidance and leadership into the future. How do we want to work in 20 years? What are the requirements in regards to security? What are the requirements in regards to data? Biggest topic, of course, that we all have at the moment, and which is also a HR data topic, is what are the business cases of the future in regards to AI, and which data do I need for the business cases for the future? And I can tell you upfront, the HR data or personal data can be a driver for a lot of business cases within AI. And so the biggest challenge is how to manage that, how to make it secure, how to control the data, and be compliant in the regions you're operating in.
Yes, compliance is, I think, one of the greatest challenge for local, for organizations. And in Europe, it's very complex because also we don't operate the same. We have different rules. We have different governments, and of course, being compliant in all of them requires a lot of expertise. But to touch upon a point that you were mentioning before, this is not purely a technology conversation, because technology already has these capabilities. SAP, when we talk about SAP, of course, because of this podcast, we can do this data management and control it. So it's not really a technology, but more a strategic leadership.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. And I mean, we at SD Worx, we are actually data sovereign by DNA. I mean, we are
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
we are a European company. We
Yeah.
are managing people data and people payments, pay slips since 80 years, right?
Yeah.
If you look at SAP, our software partner and provider, it's also European DNA with hosting facilities all around the world, but also based in Europe in St. Clair Road, but also all the other facilities just partnered with Telecom, built the largest AI operations facility or cloud facility. So by design, we and our partner SAP, we are compliant and within the requirements of being data sovereign. But of course, we also need to focus on innovation, right? So
Yeah.
what I always see is, as in organizations, there's a big discussion and conversation around how to make my data secure and what do I really need. And it's not only about the technology, it's also about the operations. How do I operate my data? It's about the services. Who services my data, right? You just brought up the number, I think you said 75%. I have a number in my head. It's 80% of companies in Europe are concerned that their data is managed in the US, for example, because of the geopolitical situation. Basically, what does that mean? They don't want to be provided by a service provider from the US. They are thinking about, that's what's happening in Germany at the moment. There are regions who are actually changing their operating systems from American operating systems to their own IP or a regional software. So it's a combination of different things, not only technology, but also operations, services, who has access to your data, and which compliance do the region, that means my local government or my company, applies to my data. So a lot of things.
Lots of things. And yeah, to add to that, I was reading kind of what felt to me a very provocative statement that can a company consider itself people-centric if they don't treat employee data right. And that's I was okay. Yes, it also reaches that level of trust within the employer and the employee, and it impacts so many things at the end.
Yeah, you're right. But you see, very important is also, and we Germans, we tend to that, important is also to not over-engineer, right? So, I mean, don't be too dogmatic about it, right? You have to also do something like a segmentation. Where is my business? Is this mission critical? Is this infrastructure critical? Is it medical critical? Is this maybe also now a big topic, military critical?
Yeah.
Of course, you need a different compliance and also a different data security sovereignty program applied to those mission critical businesses. And if you allow a startup or a company who is actually working on digital marketing with 10 employees, it's a whole different topic. Okay.
Of course.
And this is something where we have to really understand where do we have to implement program under which magnitude, and where we just have to be very pragmatic to be people-centric. If you just over-engineer it because it's a topic which is on vogue or in trend, it doesn't make any sense.
No. The trend is clear. So organizations are looking at this. I think in general they are trying to be more independent and to own and control their data. However, as you say, it's always up to evaluation and the personal case and the business type, etc. So let me ask you, what is the most recurring question that you are hearing from customers today?
Well, I mean, what I see at the moment is that, especially in SAP, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Maybe one of the leading reasons is, of course, the sunsetting of the on-premise programs until 2030. Is everybody thinking?
2030? It was 2027.
It was 2027.
Okay.
It was 2027. The announcement was 2027. That's correct. That's correct. And maybe that's a part of the answer. A lot of organizations are planning until 2030 to finalize the migration, and that's the main topic. And we see most conversations around transformation and migration. That means the transformation is not ending, and that's what I said already years ago. Transformation never ends, right? It's an ongoing process.
Yes, agree.
And then also with the movement from the on-premise environments within the SAP landscape into the cloud. The next big topic, of course, is what are the business cases for my organization and my architecture in AI? And this is what we hear everywhere in the media and also in our business environments and software and services as well. And if you think about the business cases of the future concerning AI, you have to think about data governance and data security, and which data do you need to actually support those business processes. And then now the next question comes, who is responsible for the data? That's a big question, because if you're responsible for the data, this also means it's binding. If something goes wrong, you can be responsible. That means if you implement an AI process that is used by your customer base or by your business partner, and something goes wrong, then of course it's your responsibility to manage that or to fix that, and that's a big question.
Accountability,
That's a big question. Accountability, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Because where does it lie today? Data and ownership is it's an IT problem.
Yeah, you wish. I mean, that's an interesting question, to be honest, because I think the perception is always that IT will take care of the data, but it's not. It's the owner of the data of your company is the owner of the company. So the executive management is responsible for the data of your company. So that's also the reason why in the last years the data governance programs have been increasingly growing, also from a spending perspective. I think year by year, 50% more spent in data governance programs.
Wow.
Yes, because organizations understand that data is the new currency, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So if data is the new currency and I own it and something goes wrong, whose responsibility? The accountability. And with data governance programs, you can actually describe who's accountable for which data in your organization. But if you don't have that in place, the owner of the company will be accountable for the data, and it's not the IT guy who
Yeah.
he cannot be accountable for the data.
No, of course not. Of course not. But automatically you would think that, right? Oh, that data is IT. No,
Right,
in
right,
reality, it's
right,
not.
right. So I think this is a big topic, and I
Yeah.
think because the execs of this world, they understand that, they know that there is an accountability, and just to be fair here, they are taking their accountability serious, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
As far as the conversations I have with customers, they're taking it serious, and that's a good thing, right?
Yes, it is. It is. So yeah, when customers comes to you with all these questions, how are we helping? What can we do? And also, as a service provider, an SAP
Yeah,
provider,
yeah,
how can we help companies
yeah,
be on the lead and take ownership of their data, be more sovereign, or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think the most important part is work with customers now in that environment for 25 years is listen. Right, to really listen, and I've mentioned it before, and not over-engineer, but really to listen, understand what are their requirements, and then, of course, we have a big advantage. We have a powerful partner with SAP as the European market leader in innovative enterprise software, and especially also in the HCM part, is the leader in the market. And with our partner SAP and us being the leader in HR transformation and payroll, that's the most powerful partnership across Europe. So with that experience and out of the organizations from SAP and SD Worx, we can really find solutions that fit to the requirements to our customers. So first, understand the requirements, and then work with the great technology of SAP and with the great experience and technology of SD Worx. This would be the first step, of course.
Of course, yeah. Everything starts with a good partnership, and that works at all levels. That's for sure.
Yeah. So if you continue the process, of course, it's also having the community on your side, right? I mean, we are at SD Worx, we have more than 850 experts around SAP, and also working very closely with integration partners, with hosting partners, and from the experiences and from the projects that we have delivered, right? We can share our experiences with our customers, and I think that's a big advantage for our customer base, and also that's what the prospects are actually leading the way to having or starting conversations with us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does, of course. I'm very curious to understand, is this topic, cloud sovereignty, something that worries all companies the same? Do you see more sectors or regions that are more concerned about this than others in Europe?
Yeah, of course. There are typically there are in the public sector, and then I've mentioned already some critical infrastructure businesses who are very concerned.
Yeah.
But also you see, and I have to mention it again, based on the geopolitical situation, not only in the Middle East, but also what you see, what is happening with people data in Asia or in the US, and also we are in a hybrid war in Europe as well. So this is really something that concerns organizations in any magnitude, and there are also a lot of hacker attacks, right? That's a different topic, it's a security topic now, but it all comes back to who has access to your data, where is it operated, who is actually servicing your data and providing your data. So and it can do very much harm, and there's a sensitivity to it, because I think also our government, either European Union or even here in the European regions, are really putting some focus on that topic and are explaining not only the organizations out there, enterprises out there, but also the community out there. You have to take care of your data, because it's not only the new currency, but it's also the basis of the hybrid wars that we have in all across the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a priority now. It's
It's a
top
priority.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, together with AI, of course, and as well how AI and the new tools, how they process the data as well. So everything is connected.
Everything is connected, and I mean, you can build the best AI application out there or solution out there. If you do not feed it with the right data, it's got to
Yes.
be a problem.
Yeah, yeah, and we were also talking in the introduction podcast with Ruth about this, how AI fits on data, and also how we typically think that using an AI application or whatever, automatically it's going to fix all the problems. But if you are feeding it with the wrong data or it's not structured, then you are going to make wrong decisions because you are not looking at the reality. It's you don't have the big picture. It's impossible. You are just sitting on a bunch of data that you don't know how to use, and you know, yeah, what to do with it. So at the end, AI is just going to make your problem worse if the data is not correct, it's not structured, it's not clean. So it's kind of, in a way, sometimes we are trying to build a house starting from the ceiling, I don't know how to say, rather than the foundation of the house. And data is the foundation of the house.
Now, just imagine what you have just described. You have built your new business case, depending on a beautiful AI solution that you have designed. You have thought it through. You have a super go-to-market concept that is helping you to actually, facilitate. And then somebody else has access to your data and is feeding the AI with the wrong data that harms your organization. I mean, just thinking about it. Whew.
Yeah, it gives me almost the goosebumps. It's like, oh my God, where are we?
And this is exactly what we're talking about when we talk about data sovereignty. And it is exactly who has access to the data and can manage and process the data in all facilities throughout the value chain. And that's a
Wow,
big topic.
it is, and it's massive. Huh?
Yeah.
Good. So, what are you telling, as a major conclusion, what are you telling customers today?
Yeah, I think.
I would like to hear, not panic, please, because I'm already panicking a little after.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
No, what I mentioned before. I think do not over-engineer, and maybe if you look at SD Works and SAP, and I mentioned it before, we have great experience in that regard. I think throughout the regulations that we have, especially in Germany, in GDPR, DSVGO, we are very experienced. We are by nature already compliant and sovereign, and if you have a focus on who has access to your data, where is it operated, am I using the right technology, then you are on track. But you also need to focus on innovation, and providers such as we are at SE Works or SAP will help you with that. And I think this is key. Be open-minded. Think about the innovation. Do not hinder yourself with over-engineering. And we in Germany, especially, we tend a little bit to be too dogmatic about implementing rules and regulations. And I think trust the experts and build a program that is transparent. This is my advice to our customers here.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're
Very
welcome.
useful advice. So I have a big question for you because I read some statistics today that completely blew my mind, and it's about spending on data sovereignty. So I've seen that there is a projection in Europe to triple the spend on cloud sovereignty services. If I remember correctly, last year, 2025, it was 6.9 billion, and it is projected to be at 23.1 billion in 2027, which is, again, mind-blowing. So what's your take on this?
Yeah. I think, 5 years ago, if you would have told me that, I would never believe it. But
Yeah.
5 years ago, if you would told me what's happening around the world, I would never believe it as well. And I think this is one of the causes of that projection. But however, if you look what happens in Germany or in the DACH market, and I can speak for that because very involved in that market. If you look at, as mentioned, the SAP is building big AI facilities together with the telecom, or even the Schwerzel, who is actually one of the leaders in retail, is now building a new business model and building AI facilities, operation facilities, cloud facilities based on European technology. And why are they doing this? Because of, after the lockdown and everything, they saw that the value chain was blocked because we didn't have access to the supply chain from Asia,
Yeah.
from America, et cetera, et cetera. And we want to be independent of that. And that's a big investment of the leading organizations here in Europe, the leading businesses. And this is the cause for that. They want to be independent from, let's say, if anything happens in Asia, in Taiwan, in India, in the Middle East now, or in east of Europe. And that's the result out of that. But here's the good story. I mean, if we're prepared, it also opened the market. It opens the market. It drives innovation in our region. So I see it as a real opportunity for the European market, for us as SD Works, and of course for SAP as well.
Yeah. So we are talking not only about, the way that I see it, we were dependent, no, on so many different countries because of globalization, and in a way, it's kind of coming back because you want to have knowledge in-house, you want to develop your own software. We're also talking about actually building data centers again, like in your own premises and things like that. So it's in a way, and this is way goes beyond, but yeah, in a way, it's kind of coming back to local and European sovereignty.
Yes, so see, it's not only a challenge, but there's also a big opportunity for us.
Yeah. Of course, of course.
So, and also, especially in that area of our business, so being in payroll and HR transformation, if you think about the cultural requirements, because we're talking about people data, right? I mean, if you look at the cloud transformation, everybody, like 20 years ago, the first cloud applications you were using was Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody told you about Amazon. You said, "Well, show it to me." And then you had Amazon Prime, and in your private sector, you didn't have any, let's say, fear of using cloud in your private environment. Then you had
Correct.
Netflix. Then you were using Uber, and it was not a problem for you to, give out your payment data, your personal data, where you live, right?
Your address everywhere. Yeah.
But then in a work environment, we were very, protective of, are we now going to the cloud or not? And one of the reasons for that was, of course, the fear of, causing bigger damages because the numbers are bigger. You're, managing money which is not yours. You can harm your business. Other people are involved, and there were a lot of people also concerned of that you get access to the data of your employees, et cetera, et cetera. So the list of concerns was super big, and that's why, of course, companies were thinking outside of the box and were investing in that area were much more stronger and had the advantage in the globalization. And now we are catching up and building exactly those capacities also here in Europe, and I think that's a big driver, that data sovereignty and also data governance is bringing us back to Europe.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, as you say, it's going to drive business, open new opportunities, and at the end, growth, which is great. So everything, I mean, at the end, every challenge, every problem comes with an opportunity. You have to see it and unlock it and be on top of it. And in this particular case, it's really owning your data, structuring it well, making clear who's the owner, as you were explaining, who has access to what, who can manage. So starting there. So sometimes I like to try to bring the basics back and start simplify, because we can easily get lost in the big picture and we don't know how to prioritize sometimes. So I try to oversimplify sometimes, and in this case, for companies, as you were also recommending very clearly, start with basics, ownership and control of your data, and keep an open mind.
Yeah, and maybe to end this conversation, on the right path. It's really about trust. It's about
Mm.
trusting who has access to your data. It's about trust which technology is actually managing your data, and and sometimes it's also about providing a plan and transparency. Where do I want to go with my data 10 years from now? And these are the simple things, as you're saying, right? This is just a simple practice that everybody can do, which will help you in that conversation. And I think we at SD Works, as mentioned before, we're doing this for a long time. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and trust and building trust as well. As you say, 80 years is no joke
No, it's not.
of managing
It's not.
sensitive, because we are talking as well sensitive, very, very sensitive data, which is at the end what payroll is touching. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
No, thanks to you for joining the podcast, and thank you for our listeners and people that are watching. Thank you, and see you soon.